Welcome, everybody, to the Lock On Podcast, episode number 10. I'm your host, Kyle, and we've got a great show for you today, all around the big game of the year, Cyberpunk 2077. Lots to talk about, lots of opinions on it for sure. We've got the panel, the regular panel here, Tim, Avery, Sean. Just kind of kick it off here, see what everybody's up to. Tim, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I forgot a hat, so I look like I'm in a 90s rap rock band. But otherwise, I'm doing all right.
That's good to hear.
Work's going well.
That's good. That's good to hear. Sean, how about you? How you been?
I'm good. Really just slogging through the back half of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
That's when you usually kind of start, you're like, okay,
I want to wrap it up.
Burnt out. I feel like that's almost with every Assassin's Creed there's a certain burnout point, especially for me. I definitely feel that.
I loved Odyssey. I platinumed Odyssey. This one is just England's not as the woodsy England is just not as exciting as beautiful Greece with their blue water and all that stuff. So it's just the land.
Yeah, I can definitely get behind you with that. And Avery, how you been, buddy?
Doing all right. Yeah, Sean, I agree with you. Honestly, that later in the end of Valhalla kind of really takes a kind of a fall for me. I really enjoyed Odyssey, and yeah, just hanging out, playing a lot of Immortals, Phoenix Rising, aka Gods and Monsters, and just hanging out, not doing a whole lot.
Yeah, well, I hope everybody's staying safe out there. I know this virus seems to be getting worse before it gets better, but we got vaccines on the way, so hopefully by this time next year we're all outside and life's a little back to normal, whatever we remember normal to be. But yeah, let's just jump right into it, guys. Cyberpunk 2077. I'm just going to go through a little bit of a timeline here. So we had the reviews come out literally the night before, so it would have been the last Thursday now when we're recording. Glowing reviews, pretty much 9s and 8s across the board. And then the game launched, and with it launched the previous gen console version, so your Xbox One, PS4 versions, and yeah, not good. Tons of bugs, tons of just almost unplayable. So we obviously had CD Projekt Red over the last week releasing a couple patches, trying to make the game better. And then, as news has come out, and they've had even they had a big meeting, I believe, an investor call this past Monday, and the CD Projekt Red CEO basically said, quote, initial feedback from those playing it on the oldest last-gen consoles is way below our expectations. After 3 delays, we as a management board were too focused on releasing the game. Excuse me. It's more about us looking at the PC next-gen performance rather than the current gen. We did definitely not spend enough looking at that, end quote. Now, Sean, I'm going to go for you first, and I think the number one thing that we get out of that is, yeah, that's an understatement. That's the understatement of the year. It's not good on last gen.
Buckle up, because I have thoughts. First of all, it looks shady to me when they weren't sending out console reviews, right. Because by and large, they give you a choice, or they do it on the lead platform, right? So when PC was the lead platform and it was getting 10s and everybody's talking about how good the rigs are and it was running, I was like, there's no way this game is there's no way. And then the memes started on Twitter showing people like crashing, cars falling through the ground, just all kinds of like
guns facing the wrong way.
Shit. Yeah, cops spawning in a room with closed doors, like where there's literally no way the cop could peer behind the person, shooting them. So all this bad stuff. And what the thing that bothers me, and I mentioned it in our little group chat that we have, is that when they first delayed this back in January, they said, I'm paraphrasing because I don't have it in front of me right now, but they said, we want this to be our crowning achievement this gen, and we want to make sure the game is perfect, right? So that's where they started. And then it ended with an apology from CD Projekt Red saying, we didn't pay enough attention to the PS4 and Xbox One version. Like all of this is bullshit. Like I'm glad people have a version of it that they're enjoying and running. My problem isn't with the game itself. My problem is with, I don't like duplicitous company bullshit. I don't like PR. I don't like any of that stuff because people buy it, and they know people buy it, and that pisses me off. So when you get
sorry, just not to cut in there. And the crazy thing for me about this whole thing is CD Projekt Red had so much goodwill. I don't think anybody would have blamed them or anybody would have had this massive negative reaction if they had just come out and said originally, this game does not work well on the previous gen console. So they were just upfront with people. Sure, people would have been pissed, but people would have known going ahead into it that this is the expectation.
Yeah.
Well, what pisses me off is that like people like that's what I'm saying. The people who are pro CD Projekt Red, they're like, well, you should have known better. I'm like, okay, maybe on some level, because I always was pretty suspect that it was only shown on PC. However, the average consumer doesn't follow this shit on Twitter. They don't read everything. Like IGN gets millions of views, but there's nothing that like, and they're the most popular gaming site, but they don't get everybody who's into gaming. So somebody really like The Witcher sold 20 million copies, right? So you see people who like, and if people go, oh, the makers of The Witcher made a new game, I'm going to buy that, and it's for PS4 or Xbox One, they're not going to know that the game is trash. You know what I mean? And then they say, then CD Projekt Red says, go get a refund from Sony, and Microsoft without talking to them. Like just everything across the board. I don't want to take up the whole thing. There's not they haven't done a single thing that I think is on the up and up in this from preview to launch.
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll try to keep it in segments. I want to go to Avery next. Let's just talk about the bugs and the issues, because I believe I am the only one here that's actually played the game. Correct? None of you guys either. I believe all three of you have either decided not to play it until the next gen version or wait until the bugs get solved, and that's fine. I'm the one. I have the Series X, so I have the benefit of it. It runs well. It runs well, and I can't say anything negative about it just because that's my experience with it. I definitely see all the issues with it, but I was definitely one of those people. I'm negative towards what they did, but I'm also a person that is a little bit pessimistic and thinks that nothing is going to change from this just because there are too many people out there that are just willing to accept the fact that this is an issue. And
frozen?
I'll wait.
Did you get frozen? Who got frozen?
Oh, we good?
Yeah, you froze on me. Sorry.
Oh, weird. Okay. Yeah, it's just really weird that I think there's enough people out there that won't care, and it'll put it down and they'll bitch on Twitter, and they'll complain, and they have a complete right to. But I just think that there's just not enough people out there that are going to look for refunds, that are going to do something about this where it's actually going to come across where the next people that make games, it's going to, and this happens to another game, because we all know it's going to happen to another game, that it's going to essentially turn into something along the lines of, like a Battlefront 2 situation where it was so big and there was so much outcry that something was actually changed. Avery, what are your kind of thoughts around, do you see this, do you see this being a watershed moment for the games industry, saying that this isn't okay and things are going to change?
I mean, I think the main issue is about transparency, and just like what Sean had mentioned, I saw another tweet earlier today kind of stating, if this was like the real case with CD Projekt Red, and another thing to also take into consideration is that this game was supposed to come out in not only just a few weeks ago in
April.
Well, yeah, a few months ago in April, when it was pushed back to September, and then November, and then another couple of weeks, like the 21-day delay. And so kind of makes you wonder, what game was supposed to come out in April? And then in addition, what the tweet had said is that, you know, if CD just said, look guys, it's still not ready. We understand, you know, it's been taking quite a bit of time, but, you know, just give us some more time. We'll get it out to you. Maybe they send it with some, you know, free little goodie points or whatever the hell they have in that game. And, you know, we'll all be fine. Yeah, we'll, you know, kind of piss poor, you know, about it, but we'll just move on. Now, just like, you know, what Sean had mentioned with their other message about earlier this year, that this is going to be their crowning achievement for the current gen stuff. And then they kind of do a complete 180 and say, oh shit, we didn't spend enough time on the current gen stuff. And it's like, okay, so what the fuck are you guys doing? And but no, you are right. You are the only one that's been playing the game. I haven't played it. Now, my friend, though, he's playing it. He's playing on PS5. The only things that he's been encountering is, the same sort of bugs. Pedestrians, you shoot them and they freak out. You do a 360, they're gone. He says that his game has crashed maybe about 10 times. So he kind of just takes that as his, like, okay, this is my break, I should stop. But yeah, I mean, it's just all across the board. The Metacritic scores are just PC, it's 87, then it goes 55 for Xbox One, and then 52 for PS4. So pretty trash, pretty trash.
Yeah, and it sucks too, because as someone who has played the game, this is easily the best RPG I've played since Skyrim, in my opinion. And it sucks that it's buried behind this crap that CD Projekt Red has done to themselves. They've dug this hole themselves. Tim, just on your aspect, because you had never planned on getting the game, you had always planned to get it later down the line anyway. Does this change for you? Do you think this changes for anybody that was planning to do this? Seeing all these bugs?
I was actually planning this last time to, like, as it got closer, I was going to get it on the release. I was allowing myself to get a little hyped for it first because, I mean, urban futuristic is kind of my favorite setting in a game. That's my favorite motif for video games. So I was getting increasingly excited about it, you know, the futuristic city stuff. And I got to be honest, when that first E3 2018, when it was winning all the awards and people were talking about it like it was, you know, the second coming or something, and it was, and you know, people were going off online about how amazing it was going to be. I was like, this is really going to disappoint people, because I think I know I quote Giant Bomb a lot, but at some point I had heard Jeff Gerstmann repeat what I was thinking, which is this is going to be an open world Deus Ex, and that's a good thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But this isn't going to transport you into a different dimension. I mean, you're still going to be a human being in this timeline, right? So it's people, I think, we're so hyped for it. It's just such a bummer for me, man. I mean, like, some of the stuff that isn't in the game, some of the stuff that they came up short on is like stuff that Saints Row the Third had, like cars being able to turn and pedestrians reacting and staying static in the world, and like when you run around a building, you know, they'd still be there cowering. And so I mean, those are mechanics that have existed for more than a decade. So it's crazy to me that like they missed on that bare bones basic level, especially considering how much money. I read somewhere that it's like over $150 million budget for a video game. That's like the cost of one of the cheaper Avengers movies. So for me, it's just really frustrating, and it's really disappointing that I guess I just don't know what happened. It feels to me like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, maybe even in response to that E3 demo, someone in management, someone who was calling the shots, made some really poor planning decisions, made some really poor choices on the focus of the last couple of years of development. Mm-hmm. And you get the sense, especially with the past year of delays, that they've just been staring down this barrel. They knew this was coming, but they also knew that there was a risk that if they admitted the trouble they were having, that they weren't going to be able to recoup their losses. They're a single game studio, right? They need to be able to recoup. So
yeah, and we had this discussion earlier in the week, just between a few of us at the site. That these types of games are really hard to make work nowadays. These single big hype games that takes 5, 6, 7 years to work on. And if it doesn't hit, your studio gets shuttered, or you're in a huge hole for a long time, because there's so much built up around this game. And I'm sure, seeing as they are, invested in company by investors, they need to impress them. They need to say, this is the reason why you invested in us. And we all saw the stock drop the day after. Obviously, it's comparing to their growth that they've had, it's not a huge drop, but it sucks. And this is why you see so many of these these large indie studios. And I'll use a perfect example right now. In comparative to CD Projekt Red, the closest one that I can think of is Bungie. Split off around the same size studio. They're the big 600-700 person independent studios that have a good budget behind them. But in order for them to continue to make games, the game they previously put out has to make money. It has to, in order for them to continue to pay all of those people. And at least with Bungie, in their case with Destiny, they have an ongoing model of making money. You put out expansions for Destiny 2. You put out season passes. You have cosmetics. That stuff's always bringing in money. And in terms of Cyberpunk, it's great that CD Projekt Red has prided themselves on, we're not going to have microtransactions. We're not going to have, these massively paid DLCs. We're not going to nickel and dime you. And that's fantastic. But your problem with that is, well, your only source of income is then people purchasing your game, which means you have to have people hyped. And you have to make sure everybody knows exactly what they're getting. So you lie to everybody, you lost that goodwill. I think if they had come out and said, listen, we have the game, it's going to run like crap on last gen consoles. I'm paraphrasing here. It's going to run like crap on last gen consoles. We're going to try and fix it the best we can. Here's the info on it. If you want to buy it, awesome. We'll try to make it the most enjoyable experience we can. If not, wait, we'll let you know when it's ready. And for a lot of those people, all three of you is a perfect example. You have no problem. The game's hype and you want to play it, but you don't have a problem waiting. You want the best. You want to experience the game in the best way possible. And I think most people do. I know there's a few people out there that want to, rush into it and be like, oh, I got to play this first just to have that, those water cooler moments where you can talk to your friends about what you're playing and where you are in the story. And that's awesome. But I just think there would have been the small backlash if they had delayed again or had been honest about it. But I think people would have respected them in the long run, and you wouldn't be dealing with the shit show that you're dealing with now.
Yeah. I want to comment on the dang it, I totally just lost my train of thought.
Go.
When
I
accidentally spoke over Sean, I felt bad and I lost my train of thought.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. So if you get your thought back, just let us know and then I'll stop and then you can go. All right. So what I was going to say, there's two things I have about what you said, Kyle. They all, like, you're not wrong. They need to hit, but then this was not the right way to do it. Yeah. Because they released a game, because it just counter to everything that you just presented, because they released a shitty game. Like, it's broken, like unplayable on base consoles, right? So you have number one. Number two, they should have canceled it. They should have canceled last gen hard consoles. Like, they didn't start working on this game they didn't do pre-production until after they shipped Blood and Wine. So that was 2016. So they've only been working on this game for 4 years. The problem is they gave the perception that they were working on it for 8 years because they announced it 8 years ago. But they really didn't start working on it until after they got done with Witcher. So, and then they announced it for current gen consoles in 2018, right? So, or last gen consoles, current gen at the time. And then, so at that point they said, okay, we can make this happen on consoles, right? And then come January, that's when that's where the wheels started coming off, saying, oh shit, we've featured this game, so we've made this game so complex that it can't run on last gen consoles without severe compromises, right? To that version. So instead of doing what they should have done, which was say, we know we promised this, but we have to cancel it. It's not going to be. Our scope has far exceeded what the current gen consoles are capable of. If you look at the minimum specs for PC, they're more than what the PS4 and the base Xbox One have. Like, it has 8 gigs of RAM, and then like I think another 3 gigs of VRAM, right? So you're right there. You're talking about neither the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4 have any VRAM. Well, PlayStation 4 supposedly is working off of VRAM, but they don't have the extra RAM, right? So you're then the graphics cards, all that stuff that's far outdated. Even the minimum specs is better than what the base consoles is. So it's not a matter of scaling. This game turned into a next gen game. The shareholders, they were probably told this by development, saying, hey, this we can't make this happen on last gen hardware. And the heads of the company were like, no, we need to make money, so make it happen. And this is what you get. And like I said earlier, and I've said before, my issue, I don't care. I was never hyped about this game. Like I don't like Witcher 3. I think Witcher 3 has great story, but a bad gameplay. And like, so I wasn't hyped for this game. But I was interested in it because I like the concept and I like role-playing games. And I was like, okay, so I just kind of I didn't pay much attention to anything until, like, you know, I said, I'm going to get it. I'm going to play it. So then, but then when I see all this and I'm like, what gets me, and like I said it before, I hate when corporations lie to consumers. To me, consumers are the most important people. And when a company lies like this, it just makes me just think you're a piece of shit. And I feel bad for all the developers who have to have all this shit on them when they probably knew and they probably told them this isn't going to happen. But their bosses, they wanted that paycheck. Yep. They're bragging. They were literally bragging that they sold 8 million pre-orders as people are tweeting online saying this game is broken as hell.
Yep. No, I 100% agree with you. And you know what? I have no problem admitting that I was definitely one of those people that said, just get a refund, guys. Because that's what they said. They had said, hey, get a refund. And I instantly assumed that, if they're saying get refunds, then they've already obviously talked to Sony and Microsoft. It's got to be a really easy thing because it's just your console. You boom, pre-order. When a company tells you get a refund, you would assume that they've made it fairly easy. And I just thought, well, if people aren't happy, just get a refund and move on. But obviously not, because they lied about that too, about getting into it with Sony and Microsoft. Because Microsoft, to an extent, I'm assuming because they're with them in marketing deals, they probably saw this and like, okay, we just got to do this. We got to make sure that it's a really simple, easy thing to do. And from what I've heard and what I've seen with a couple buddies that got refunds through the Xbox, it is really easy. You either call them up or you email them and they get back to you Xbox support gets back to you fairly quickly. But on the opposite side, Sony has, from what I've heard, been very stingy about wanting to break they have a policy. You can return the game within 14 days. And again, personal opinion, this is a really stupid policy because as soon as you download the game, as soon as you start downloading, you can't return it. Well, it's like every game just instantly starts downloading as soon as you buy it. But they can do that. That's their marketplace. They can choose what rules they have.
Well, I have thoughts about that.
I remember what I was going to say.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, the thing that bothers me the most is actually not the bugs. You know, Fallout and Elder Scrolls have had bugs since 1999, and no one, you know, that the thing is, first of all, the bad bugs, the bugs that aren't fun. You know, the backwards guns and the hair disappearing, that's kind of funny, right? The final scene in Modern Warfare, for me, the floor of the helicopter disappeared. Those are kind of funny things. But the thing that bothers me the most is those mechanics that are just baseline open world mechanics that they just didn't bother to, like, it's not just, it's like, it's the fact that they were purposefully cutting corners. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just that they ran out of time. Sorry guys, we had to get it out the door. It was, we'll fix the bugs later. It was like, NPCs disappear so we don't have to worry about you interacting with them.
It felt like a response that a games as a service game would normally have. at launch.
Yeah.
Like, like an Avengers, it launches, it's buggy, there's issues. Oh, we'll fix it. It's games as a service.
Yeah.
But right as of this moment, and again, we had a conversation earlier about this is probably going to become a game. This is a very much, to me, the same kind of thing GTA did, where they launched the single player, they launched the multiplayer later, and then they're going to base the multiplayer and transactions to get on that Destiny GTA type level where they can make money as they update the game with new stuff online, and it'll help fund their other projects. So for that, I understand. But yeah, you're correct. It's not as a games as a service game right now. Things need to be fixed. Now, Avery,
sorry.
I was just curious what we had talked about this earlier, and I just kind of wanted to reiterate on it. You had come up with a good strategy, in your opinion, what should have been done and what CD Projekt Red should have done with the state of the game and how it was on the last gen consoles.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I had mentioned before, I think, again, being transparent about the entire process, not trying to, what had Tim said, cut corners, and just kind of be open with the public goes a long way. They are a respected studio. They have, The Witcher in their back pocket, so it's not like they're just some, Joe Schmo. They obviously can flex their muscles with that. So I think a lot of people would have been just fine if, the head of the company or whatever just sent out and said, hey guys, so things are not looking, as great as we thought right now with the game. Like Sean mentioned about, his idea of canceling it for current gen and going next gen, talking about how, it's evolved into something else along the way, something bigger. You can even try and hype up the hype, even more, talk about how, we thought it was going to be, something like this, but with the new technology coming out, we were able to kind of create new features. And so we really want to put this in the game for you. And we just feel as though if you give us some more time, it'll be the type of experience that we do want to give to you, that we believe that you deserve after giving us all this support through all the countless years. Something like that, real quick, I do want to mention something that I think Tim had said about just, again, cutting corners. There was another tweet I saw earlier that Mitchell Saltzman from IGN, he had posted a screenshot of leaving Ninth City, Nigth. And so it's things like these.
I saw that.
Right. And so it's things like that where it's not just simply the standard bugs. It's like legit, like just oversight, things that shouldn't be wrong. You shouldn't have spelling errors in a fucking game like this. Like, it's the name of the city. Right. And all of their, videos leading up to this is all those Night City specials, Night City, Night City, Night City, but it's spelled wrong. And so I don't know, but I digress. It's a great game. Like you said, if you are able to play it. And so I do hope, especially with the actual next gen version coming out sometime, next year, hopefully it's in the early half of it. Did they say when that's coming out? Does anybody know?
Initially, before the game come out, you would think February, March would be my guess.
That's what I was thinking.
Now, I'm summer, maybe at the earliest.
They said there was a big patch in January and a big patch in February.
Yeah, but those are only patches for the
we don't know. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, those are fixes for the shit version. We're talking about the when they're going to release the proper PS5 and Xbox One.
Yeah, my guess is summer at the
Series
earliest.
X. I mean,
my guess is May, June, maybe. At this point, like you don't really know. I will say this in defense: I see a lot of people that want to compare this game to Red Dead Redemption 2. Please stop. Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a beautiful game. Don't get me wrong. No one is clowning on Red Dead. We all know what Red Dead Redemption 2 looks like. One is an open world Western game that has almost zero dense areas to it. So it's not taxing on the systems for the most part. It's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. And it's a beautiful, heavy, I wouldn't say, let me rephrase that. I wouldn't say it's not heavy on the systems, but the systems are more than capable of running it at a locked frame rate without a crap ton of bugs. And comparing it to Cyberpunk, which is a metropolis that you know, take it or leave it, but this game to me is pushing the boundary of what we've seen with RPGs in terms of systems, mechanics, things on top of things in terms of what you can do in the city. It's very impressive from a technical aspect.
There's just so many permutations of what you can do, what that would affect something else. Like I'm not, there's a little bit of that in Red Dead. Like I remember, like I was wandering in the woods and I came across the KKK. So I just threw a stick of dynamite at the whole group of them and they blew up and went on fire. And it wasn't even, I interrupted the world event that was supposed to happen. What's supposed to happen is they're supposed to light the cross on fire, and then one of them catches on fire, and then but I didn't even get to that point because I just threw a stick of dynamite at them, and then they all blew up. You know what I mean? So you can do stuff like that, but it's not what this is. It's not what this game is trying to do. And I'm not defending CDPR, but I'm just saying I understand the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. There's more going on than the PS4 and the Xbox One can handle.
Yeah, sure.
And
it's a lot.
Go ahead.
It's a lot more dynamic elements versus static elements. There's not that many dynamic elements in Red Dead, so they can push the look, the textures on the static elements a lot farther, the trees and the grass. Whereas when you're in a city, there's a lot of dynamic elements. There's people running around, there's cars, there's lights turning on and off. I mean, it's a different, like the nature of the beast is just completely different, and where the energy goes, where the hardware has to exert itself.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, so
I just wanted to say a couple things. One, I do want to touch on Sony's return policy, which I think is garbage. I've talked about this in the group, but I'm more pro physical than I am digital.
Yeah.
For the rights of the consumer, you have way more rights and way more flexibility when you're purchasing physical than you do with digital. And a lot of the reason is because of shit like, oh, you downloaded this game that we encourage you to preload, that we sell you ahead of time. We're saying, oh, pre-order it now on digital, and you pre-order it and then you preload it and then you get it, and then you find out that this game that they didn't review, that they saw and knew that it was shit, they sold it to you, and then you can't be like, wait a second, I want my money back. And they're like, oh, you downloaded it, so you can't? Like, fuck off. Yep. Like, fuck you. That's just bullshit. Like, that's just bad customer service. That's just a bad look all around.
And a lot of the reason why people are moving digital more, and I'm included, I always really enjoyed, and I always told myself I wasn't going to do digital games, but obviously that times have changed now, so I do. One thing I really actually love that Xbox has done, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe PlayStation doesn't do this. It's a newer feature on the Xbox, but it actually allows you to go in the store and you can actually download any game. Just go in and download it. You don't have to pay for it, but it'll charge you. It'll ask you again, like when the game is released, you still need to pay for it. So what that allows you to do is if you are going to get the disc version, you can go download everything that would be on the disc. And then as soon as you get the disc, you don't have to wait downloading it and upgrade patches. Like everything's there. You just pop the disc in and you've got the license for the game. Because that's all the disc is nowadays. It's just it's a physical license for the game. And I really like that because it does show you, it allows those people, because I'm one of those, like, give a prime example, like Call of Duty. Everybody wants to jump on Call of Duty. It's midnight. Got to get on. Got to learn the maps. Got to learn the guns really quick before everybody else. It allows those people that enjoy the discs to still buy a disc-based copy and not have to worry about the, I got to go home and download the, 20, 30 gigabyte day one patch. It's just, boom, you already got it.
PS for people that don't have data cap.
PS doesn't do that, but that's kind of still, it's not Xbox. One of the things, going back to the Xbox One with their original policy with the DRM and all that stuff, where basically they were going to treat the disc like it was just an authentication key. The problem with that was that that's a great concept, but when you're telling people they can only sell games to somebody they've known for 30 days, and you can only sell that copy of the game once, that's just a whole other mess. But one of the cool things was I had rented Titanfall for the Xbox One because my plan was I was going to play it on the disc and then download it at night when I went to bed and then send it back so that I could just play it off. Because I knew I was going to keep Titanfall. You know what I mean? Like, I'll buy digital if it's a game I know I'm going to play. I'm going to get my $60 worth and then some, which is very rare, but I knew I was going to do that. And one of the cool things is that I had already installed it from the disc. So when I downloaded it, I didn't actually download anything. Yeah. I just bought it and then I could play it because it was working in tandem with what was on the disc. So on PlayStation, it's not like that. On PlayStation, if I got it on disc, I wanted to download it, I would have to uninstall the disc version and then download the other version. But even still, you're still in a position where they're like once you pay for it though, like you said, once you pay for it, if you've already paid for the game and it's shit, then they still won't, like, if people are still having a hard time on Xbox. They're not as stringent as PlayStation's refund policy, which is utter garbage. But going back to what we were talking about with Cyberpunk, it's not just Last of Us. People are comparing it to Ghost of Tsushima, Red Dead. They're comparing it to Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and all this other stuff. And yes, they're all beautiful games that run. The bugs are minor, but like Tim said, their problems are minor. The comparisons are minor. There's not as many systems going on. So I agree with you. I don't think people should compare the two of them. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not defending the shit say to Cyberpunk. I'm just pointing out the reality.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like we've pretty much touched on, unless you guys have any other last topics here that you want to touch on. It's pretty much across the board. Just, it sucks. It sucks for the consumer. It sucks for the employees of CD Projekt Red, because there's a lot of those employees that worked very, very hard. All of the employees worked very, very hard on this game. It's a transcending game of, it's pushing new limits, and that's what I love about it. But I feel like that so much of this just comes down to shitty management on their part. It's not good management.
I do want to say one thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Go back to what I was saying that I didn't get to because it was going along with what Avery was saying before we got cut off. This shows you, and the reason why they released it this way is because of all the people that cry and whine and complain that they're being left behind when next gen happens.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for everybody who didn't get a chance to get it, who can't afford it right now. Those games that you want to play that are available now are not going away when you can finally get a next gen console. Like, you need to at some point you need to leave the old hardware behind and just concentrate on what the game you're trying to make on the hardware that you can make it on. And that's like, I would be saying this even if I didn't get a PS5. I only recently started buying consoles at launch. Before that, I always waited a year or two. On the 360, I waited until Gears of War came out. PlayStation 3, I waited until Uncharted came out. PlayStation, like same thing with PlayStation, Xbox, the original Xbox, when Splinter Cell came out, that's when I got it. I know that there's going to be things I'm missing out on, but I know I'm still going to be able to play them.
Yeah, they don't go away.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like you're going to sit there and be like, oh, I want to play Demon Souls, but I can't because I don't have a PS5. Guess what? When you do get a PS5, Demon Souls is still going to be there. And guess what? It's going to be cheaper.
Yeah, we definitely live in a society nowadays, and it's more prominent than ever that people need things now. And there's a lot of FOMO that happens. And it's just the gaming industry in general. Small things like season passes where stuff expire. Oh, I gotta play this right now. If I don't play it, then I'm gonna miss out on these cosmetics. Or it's built into the gaming industry now, I feel like, and it sucks. People just need to learn to be patient when it comes to games that they might not be able to get their hands on, or systems they might not be able to get their hands on. It's gonna come. Microsoft and Sony are not gonna be like, well, we just sold 10 million, no more. Yep, we're done. No, that's not, they want to make money. They were going to continue to make those. Anybody, any last thoughts? I feel like we covered most of Cyberpunk here.
Yeah, real quick.
Go for it.
Sean, you literally just brought up Demon Souls, and I was going to say that as like an example of what you're talking about with games, strictly being on next gen. I mean, this is my first time playing it, but I can only imagine like how lesser it would have been kind of on PS5 just based on how it's been running on PS4. So very good example. My second point is going back to what Kyle was saying. If we get the PS5 or the just the next gen version in general for Cyberpunk in the summer, I wonder what that's going to do for next year's Game Awards.
Yeah.
Because if it can theoretically, you know, clean up a lot of shit and release a brand new version, that will kind of have a lot of recency bias then, you know, with the Game Awards. And so that'll be kind of interesting to take a look at, something to think about, you know, sometime next year. But no, that's it. That's all. I'm done.
Tim?
Yeah. I guess to some extent, I feel like maybe we're a little lucky in that this is just a video game, and people who were broadsided lost $60. But there's a lot of corporations that do this and cut corners and deliver products and services without field testing them and having them actually be ready, just to force, you know, profit for the shareholders, and people end up losing their lives. So just a shot of perspective, I think, at the end here might be helpful that, you know, we've seen.
That's like saying first world problems.
I'm serious, though. Boeing did this with that plane and all those, and a lot of people died. True. So I'm saying it's upsetting, and they should be held accountable. But I think that it is worth stating that there is a perspective. Some perspective might help us, you know, deal with this as a collective, you know, the game community as a whole. Also, I feel like from this camera angle, I look like the grumpy plant from Sesame Street, and I just feel like I needed to address it because I know people online are going to.
Well, we don't have video.
We don't have video,
Tim.
Oh, we don't? Okay, thank goodness.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. And you know, it's funny. I kind of want to get. We're gonna do a little live reaction here. Off topic. I haven't even told you guys. So the Monster Hunter movie reviews embargo just released.
Oh, really?
And currently, IGN. I'm just looking at IGN. IGN just gave Monster Hunter a 3 out of 10. It's awful. Monster Hunter from Resident Evil's Paul W. Anderson and Mila Jovovich, I hate pronouncing her last name, is one of the year's worst movies. So let's just slot that in. I just thought that was funny. And we get a little reaction. I just thought that was a little funny as I was scrolling through. Let's just slot that right back into the pile of terrible video game movies. I think we're probably over the last, what would you say, 20 movies, let's say, we'll probably have 3 good ones. That's.
Oh, I still need to see Sonic. I still need to see that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. It's on Netflix here, actually.
I know the guy that wrote that.
Ooh, really?
Yeah. Uh-huh. He plays hard trivia with us.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, man. It's like I don't understand why we can't get. There are 100% directors out there that deserve a good video game movie, and they know they can direct a good video game movie. And it sucks that we haven't really seen that. Like, just if anyone can kind of shout it at the top of their head, what is the best video game movie you can think of?
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah.
Well,
but here's the thing about Wreck-It Ralph. I'm doing it based on an actual game. It has
based
to
on the game.
The original Mortal Kombat is a really guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Love the original one.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of that I actually enjoyed quite a bit is I actually didn't mind, and I'm not even big in the World of Warcraft. I didn't mind the World of Warcraft movie, actually. It's no masterpiece, but by any means. But it was enjoyable for what it is. And I also didn't mind the new Tomb Raider movie. That was another one that I actually quite enjoyed because it just followed. I loved the first plot of the reboot Tomb Raider, and it essentially was just that. It wasn't like a really original story or anything, but I think that was another really decently made movie. But there's definitely no video game movie out there that is like, you've got to see this, which sucks.
Oh.
I disagree, but not for the reasons that you think. All right, so I will say, okay, so there's a couple. The first Resident Evil is a solid prequel-ish. If you look at it like a prequel to the original game, I think it's a solid, if surprisingly bloodless, R-rated zombie movie. the series takes a nosedive, and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
I actually liked that series a lot.
It's Tim. Get the fuck first Ghost Rider, now this shit. Get out of here. So, dude, Final Chapter was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Actually, that's
in
the
my
only
life.
one I haven't seen.
It's
That's
awful.
the only one I haven't seen.
But you like the other one, so you might enjoy this one too.
I like them like I like gas station hot dogs. It's not, I'm not gonna take my friends out from out of town.
But okay, so I agree with you, Kyle. The Tomb Raider movie was actually a pretty good start, and I'd like to see that series continue. My favorite video game movie though is one of the worst ones, but it's so fucking hilarious that it entertains me to no end, and that is House of the Dead.
Oh,
that
is
movie.
that another? Did Paul? Who directed that?
No, that's Uwe Boll. By the way, yeah. Speaking of Monster Hunter, I'm not surprised that another Paul Anderson movie is bad. He makes bad movies. That's what he does.
Yeah.
No, it's the Uwe Boll. It's the first one that he did, and it's so funny. Like, I don't know if anybody's seen this movie, but it's about these raiders that go to this island, and zombie outbreak happens on the island, and these ravers are like shooting zombies like they're SWAT trained fucking marksmen, jumping in for no reason whatsoever. There's matrix shots where they're jumping in the air and it freezes and goes around them. Like these ravers shoot. It's so funny because in the Matrix there's an in-world explanation to why they're doing that, because it's a fucking computer program. And they're just this whole thing. And then there's two things that make this movie the best shitty movie ever. So they get to the house, and the girl, book, maybe it can help us. This random shut book is it something that could possibly help them on this table? Then the main bad guy has the girl tied up, and she goes, "You want to be immortal? Why?" And he says, "So I can live forever."
Just cringy but hilarious.
It's so good. And the rave has like 14 people at it. It's in the daytime, and it's a corporate sponsored rave
with Sega signs, sponsored by Sega.
Well, that's good, guys. I'm happy we could bring that up
in the daytime.
I'm happy we could bring that up and just kind of enjoy it. I want to get to the last topic, and I want to make it really quick because we're running out of time here. The Game Awards. Obviously, we talked about it in the last episode, what we were expecting for Game of the Year. And Last of Us 2 cleaned up pretty much across the board when it came to the awards, much to many people's dismay and Sean's hilariosity that he could laugh at all of these people.
I love it.
Which he did enjoy the night on Twitter, I can tell you that right now.
That's the name of your next project, right, Sean? Hilariosity.
But I just want to talk about it really quick. I just want everybody to go around and say one or two things, what they enjoyed. I think I'll start, and I don't want to take too many people's answers, so I'll make it really easy for me as an Xbox guy. I'm super psyched for Perfect Dark. I absolutely loved it because it essentially was a follow-up to 007 once they didn't get the 007 license back in the N64 days. I know, Sean, that you had expressed that you had hoped that it wasn't going to be Perfect Dark because it's not a new IP. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like I do agree with you to a point where, yeah, it would be nice for them to make up something new. But I just think Perfect Dark is so old, and I don't think they're going to touch it's Perfect Dark in name only. It's brand recognition. That's all it is. I think this is going to be a completely different game. I think it's going to have a brand new storyline. Because you got to remember, those N64 games back in the day didn't have like these super deep stories. It was mostly about the mechanics of shooting and stuff like that. So they're obviously going to use Joanna Dark. But that's pretty much all we know. The city, it was a cinematic trailer too, so we didn't see any gameplay. And I'm assuming that this game's at least 3 or 4 years away. Like I don't expect this game anytime soon. I was just happy that it was announced. And I'm happy that we hopefully are going to get the Xbox's drought on high-end AAA single-player games over with. Maybe not at the start of next year, but obviously when Halo comes out at the Q3 or Q4 of 2021, hopefully we kind of end that. So yeah, I'm extremely excited for Perfect Dark, and I think I've looked at that studio. and it's so funny. They have so many Santa Monica and Naughty Dog employees there now that they've kind of poached, or they had a lot of money obviously behind them with the initiative.
It cracks me up because I have never engaged with Kyle and I. Just so you guys know, behind the scenes, Kyle and I get into it pretty hard on on our chat, really hard. You would never be able to tell on the show, but we get into it really hard. But
I was kind of scared.
I don't think you're one of these people who thinks who says one and done, who doesn't like one and done Sony games that they beat and they're done, and we have multiplayer games. These are conversations I have with people, Xbox fans, one and done for the Sony games because they're single player. And the initiative is full of people that make those quote unquote one and done games.
Yeah.
So it's hilariously ironic that these people are excited for this game made by people who made those games that they talk shit about. You're going to get one of those games, and Xbox clearly wants those kind of games to fill out their portfolio. That is, Machine Games does not make multiplayer games. Most of Bethesda's teams don't make multiplayer games. They want to invest heavily into single player games.
Yeah,
and you're right.
Because I think we've got Xbox has the multiplayer games. Halo is easily one of the best multiplayer games in my opinion that's out there. Gears has great multiplayer. They've got Sea of Thieves again, really really fun co-op multiplayer game. They've got the multiplayer games. They've got that portfolio. Everyone knows Xbox has always been the shooter multiplayer box. That's what it does. That's what it's prided itself on for a long, long time. Ever since Halo 1 came out, it was always that multiplayer box. But you're definitely correct, Sean. I think it is funny that they have so many people that don't like the single player, constant single player games that work for Sony, and they work. That's why they continue to make them. Yeah. But we've got so many different talent over at the initiative that's making this game that made all of those. So it is funny that you point that out. I never honestly thought about that. But I'll move over to Avery. What was your Game Award choice?
Right off the bat, I can't remember if it was first or second, but I'm not really that big into Smash, but I love Final Fantasy VII, and so seeing Sephiroth descend from the heavens to Cloud's immense shock, and seeing him impale Mario with his long, sword, that was pretty nice to see. And to jump off of your, Xbox stuff, I think it's pretty cool that, Arc 2 with Vin Diesel is going to be, an Xbox exclusive. What was it? Say 2022. So yeah, I mean, a ways away, but still another one, on their notch. I love to see Microsoft developing, a lot of those exclusives. Hopefully now, within the next year or so, we see all those studio acquisitions start to, manifest into some, physical products. And then the other thing was, I love playing Among Us, so seeing that map was pretty cool. I was hoping that it was going to be like a same day announce and release, and so it was kind of, I don't know.
Although they did announce today that the Switch version came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's true.
Switch now.
There's
and
a
actually,
Switch.
I would actually prefer, if I play on my phone, because I don't really want to play it on PC. But I would actually prefer to play it on the Switch, because I think you've got your controls, but you've also got the touch screen. I think it would work really well on there. Nintendo's biggest problem is their online sucks. So and you don't have any way to chat to people other than if you use like a Discord. So that would suck. But yeah, no, I'm totally with you there. I think Among Us, the map.
It just came on Game Pass for PC now too.
Yeah.
For Xbox Game Pass. So, but other than that, not a whole lot. I just enjoyed the awards for the most part, but happy for all the other games that hype some people up.
Tim, how about you? Anything that stood out to you?
I am really excited for that Perfect Dark. I actually have no memories of those games. I never played the original, and I actually was really psyched for the sequel, Perfect Dark Zero, which they didn't talk about a whole lot. But I never got my hands on it until lots of, the technology had advanced a lot, and the team had mostly moved on. So by the time I got to that game, it felt kind of archaic. But I really like the concept of Joanna Dark as a character. I like the idea of Microsoft having another mascot to play with for ads and promotion stuff. And I like the mascot concept when it comes to consoles and video game companies. And Master Chief is faceless to some extent, so I like the idea of having someone potentially become another mascot for them. I'm actually really excited. I forget what it's called now, but that Left 4 Dead style game.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be. I think
Back 4
Sean's going
Blood.
to talk about that one for sure. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah, I have some very precious memories of Left 4 Deads, so I'm very excited for that. I hope that they are able to deliver. I'm going to stay cautious because Left 4 Dead was such a weird, quirky thing. Yeah. I don't believe that that's something that you can just pull out of a hat. That that design took time. And then I'm actually really excited to see that PUBG game that looks a lot like Dead Space because I like Dead Space a whole lot, and I'm really excited to see what. Man, I'm forgetting everyone's names tonight. The creator of Dead Space.
Well, the game is called the Callisto Protocol.
Right. Yeah.
And that you're talking about Schofield. I think it's
Schofield.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see.
He originally ran
Visceral.
the EA studio.
Visceral.
And then he left, and they formed Sledgehammer, and then he left again, and now he's got this.
Yeah. I'm really excited to see him get to return to horror because I watched actually just like a couple months ago. I watched an interview of him from 2016 or 2017 where he said that he had a lot of ideas he had been building up for another horror game, and he was hoping that someday he was going to get to use them. So I'm very excited to see what he comes up with because the first Dead Space took me I didn't play it until 2017, and it took me a couple of years to beat just because it was so scary.
Yeah,
I kept I just am not in the mood to be that scared right now. The second one wasn't as scary because I had gotten used to it by then. But man, I'm real excited to see what he turns out.
Same.
He and his team, of course.
Yeah, no, I'm very excited for that as well. Sean, I think we mostly covered everything, but anything else?
Well, I'm excited for Back 4 Blood because I put in a lot of time with Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, like a ton. Yeah. So I'm super excited at Turtle Rock. And I actually think Evolve was a great game that got fucked by 2K's greed. Evolve, I don't know if you played that, but mechanically that game was fucking awesome.
I bought it day one, and I had an absolute blast with it. If you get 4 buddies in there, even playing like custom games where you got 5 of you is a blast.
It's so polished and well done and executes on the idea so well. And that game would have been huge if 2K didn't fucking fuck it with all the DLC shit.
Yeah.
It just completely fucked
Didn't that game have multiple season passes announced within the first year?
Yeah, and it was like and everyone was like, "Fuck you! The game's not even out yet." It was so bad. It was such a bad. I feel so bad for Turtle Rock. So I'm really hoping that this game, they're going to have, it's going to be too late for anybody listening to the show, but I'm informing you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. They're having a live gameplay of that game.
If you didn't catch it, you can probably check it out on the YouTube VODs or Twitch VODs.
So yeah, anybody wants to see that, they just find it on YouTube. Back 4 Blood gameplay. One of the things I liked about this show is that it was low key people who are like, yeah, we don't have the rights to our old game anymore, but we're going to make the fucking next game anyway. Glenn Schofield with the Callisto. And then I'm really excited. I'm a huge Evil Dead fan, so I'm really excited for the Evil Dead game. I already know my friends are going to play that. My friends that played Friday the 13th together, my friends that played Predator together, we are going to have a lot of fun playing that Evil Dead game. And the other game that I really there's a bunch of games that were interesting, but I want to talk about It Takes Two by Joseph Fares.
Oh, yes.
I love Joseph Fares. Brothers is one of my all-time favorite games. I played it on the 360. That game is brilliant. I've never played a game where the mechanics are the story. If you haven't played Brothers, if you get a chance to, I don't know if anybody else has played it here. It's not a co-op game, but it's a single player co-op game. So basically one stick controls one brother, one stick controls the other. Basically the sides of the controllers are each brother. Right?
I want to say I think it's on Game Pass, if I'm being honest with you.
Play it if you have not played it. It's great. You play it. It's this beautiful environmental storytelling, brilliant design that comes together at the end of the game, and you're like, oh my God. It's just such this revelation when you're playing that game at the end. You're like, oh my God, that's why I was playing this game this way. It's so good. I didn't play A Way Out. I wanted to, but I just didn't have anybody to play with. I know you get a free copy, and that's what this is. But I just love the way that guy approaches video games. He's so refreshing. He's so refreshing, and like that, he just wants to do. Like I think he's one of the most unsung, brilliant game developers, or like studio people, like that we have. Like I put him up there with Kojima in terms of how he approaches game design and how he really tries to do something different with it. I just think, and that the concept of that game looks great. I think I can't wait to play that game.
I agree. I played Get Out, not Get Out. What was it? What did you just say?
A Way Out.
A Way Out. Yeah, I played it with a buddy of mine, and it was fantastic. Great. It's cool that you're split screen the whole time, even if you're playing on different consoles. You can see one person's perspective on your screen. Great game. Excellent game. I actually played it again through Game Pass because EA plays on there. So if you've not played that as well, check it out. Very, very underrated game. But I think we're going to cut it there. Obviously, a lot of Cyberpunk talk. We're going to be back, I believe. I think this is our last show of the year. We may try to squeeze in a show next week before Christmas. So if we don't,
Boxing Day.
Yeah, Boxing Day. Canadian over here. So before we go, I just want to check in everybody last time. Avery, are you working on anything? You just getting ready for the holidays? What are you up to?
Playing through Immortals, Phoenix Rising, going to do a review. I want to say I'm about maybe like 60% of the way through. Real fun. Besides that, going to do a similar post to what Sean did of like just most anticipated 2021 games, trying to get a jump start on that.
So get him your list.
Going there. And, but no, other than that, just hanging out, staying warm in Arizona.
Tim, how about you?
I wish I was in Arizona. It's cold here. It snowed yesterday, the day before. It's going to snow again on Friday. I am playing through Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered. Going to do a review of that. Preview, it is still fantastic. I'm going to then probably be working on finishing up whatever I have left with Hitman 2. So I'm ready when Hitman 3 drops next month. I was going to go visit my family for Christmas, and we canceled the trip. So I'm going to have plenty of game time because I already took the time off.
There you go.
So we're going to be...
Not always a bad thing.
Yeah, we're going to be hanging out. But yeah, I would say catch me on Twitter, but I'm not on Twitter.
We'll get you there someday. Sean, last word.
I'm hoping I wrap up Assassin's Creed Valhalla this weekend. I was gonna jump right into Immortals, but since Avery's reviewing it, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna play Sackboy in between because I have that. I'm gonna play that in between. Plus, I don't want to go from one open world game to another. So I'm gonna, especially not two Ubisoft open world games in a row. So I'm gonna hopefully finish that up and then take a Sackboy for a spin and then give that. Try to review that. And then I have to basically, I need everybody's game of the year list. So we're going to be doing, we did game of the generation last month. We're going to do game of the year, hopefully before the end of the year, so we can have that. So I'm going to need everybody's game of the year list. And then that's it. And I am on Twitter. That's N2N other. That's the letter N, the number 2, the word other, N2N other. Wait, I said the letter N, the number 2, the letter N, the word other, N2N other. And then, that's it.
Perfect. For myself, I believe I am currently in the process of reviewing the Big COD Season 1 update. A lot of people are checking out, obviously, new Warzone, tons of big changes because they just I've never seen it done before where Call of Duty took Modern Warfare, which is last year's game, Warzone, and Black Ops, and made a single progression system across all three, which I think is honestly very impressive just on a technical level. So be on the lookout for that very soon. Lots of new maps, stuff like that. So take a look at that. And then, you can follow me on Twitter at Hoopstar245 for all of my crazy, dumb video game takes and sports rants. But for the gang here, this has been Locked On episode 10, and we will catch you hopefully in the new year. If not, have a great Christmas, happy Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating, enjoy it, play some video games.
Happy
We'll see you all later.
Festivus.